After the credit check, ID authentication must be completed in one of two ways. First, we have automated authentication. This is where the customer will be sent a link through contact information where they can submit the ID. Second, we have manual ID authentication. All manual scenarios will require the seller to call the number on the screen with provided transaction ID. Now, to proceed, the customer must provide one of the following. They must provide either a cell phone number, which must belong to the customer, or contact email, which also must belong to the customer. We are never to use our own phone number for the automated process. Once the contact information is gathered, we then click Send ID Authentication link. Next, the customer will need to check their email or text for the AT&T authentication link. Now, customers may ask, why do I have to verify my ID? You may simply respond with, AT&T has introduced additional verification as a security measure for their customers. Now, below is an example of the text the customer will see on their device. And once selecting the link, the customer will be taken to the AT&T ID verification page. And we can see the customer's view there on the right. Customer will need to agree to the consent notice and check the box. And next, customer will click Yes, Continue to proceed. The customer will see the following steps displayed. Step 1, choose your document. Step 2, take pictures of both sides of the ID card or front side of your passport. And step 3, approve and verify. To start the process, customers will need to click Go. The customer will select one of the following documents to use. Now, in the customer's view, they will select either ID card or driver license, passport card, or passport book. Now, only customers should select the ID type. IDs that are not accepted are digital, temporary, and copies of IDs. It must be the original. Now, in this example, photo ID or driver license was chosen for ID verification. Customer will need to select Got It to begin ID capture. Please note, customer must click Allow access to their device camera. Use camera to line up ID inside markers. Click or tap the screen to capture the photo. And also repeat the steps for the backside of the ID as well. Now, in this example, passport was chosen for ID verification. Customer will need to select Got It to begin ID capture. Please note, customer must click Allow access to their device camera. Use camera to line up ID inside markers and click or tap the screen to capture the photo. Now, we want to be sure that the ID is aligned perfectly. Also making sure that it isn't overcropped, distorted, have any type of glares, undercropped, or blurry. Any of those can prevent the ID from being processed successfully. Now, after submission, AT&T will process the result. Once upload is complete, the customer can notify the agent to resume the sales flow. Now, if the customer declines the automated process, manual ID authentication must be used. Now, it's important to note that ID authentication is required for all orders. No workarounds available. If the customer is declining both the automated and the manual process, we will not be able to process the order for the customer. Sellers will then click Use Manual Authentication of ID over the phone, and a pop-up appears to confirm the manual authentication process. Now, it's important to note, automated authentication is not an option after manual authentication is confirmed. Also, if an ID is restricted from scanning, manual authentication must be used. Call the number on the screen to speak with a specialist, and the specialist will speak to agent and customer and ask for the following information. They will need first name, last name, and transaction ID. Now note the transaction ID is case sensitive, so we will need to indicate if it has a lowercase h, capital N, lowercase b, and so forth. The specialist will approve or deny the application, and we will click next after finishing the call. Click next to see the ID results AT&T has determined. In this example, we see the ID result is pending. Click OK on notification pop-up, wait for the customer to finish the authentication ID process, and then click next to try and continue with the order. Now, if an analyst review is required, please call the number provided. All required information will populate on the screen. We don't want to assume that the sale is dead or that we cannot complete the sale. This could be due to a small issue. Simply calling analyst review, they will advise how to proceed with that order. Click next to see the ID results AT&T has determined, and in this example, we see the ID result has been approved. Click OK on notification pop-up, and then click next to continue processing the wireless order. Confirm all information on the screen and validate the customer email by clicking Validate Email. Customer Secure Data page will update with a new PIN to validate email. Seller will input PIN into SARA Plus and click Validate PIN. If we are not validating the customer's email, you will see this pop up. Select yes to skip validation. Best practice is to go ahead and validate the customer's email because that secure data link that they receive, they will be using throughout the order entry process.